Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. And now, for your host, Kimberly McLemore.
All right, good evening and welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring entrepreneurs and women-owned businesses from across the country. I am your host, Kimberly McLemore, and welcome to another night of sharing. With us, we have Nancy Solari, the CEO of Living Full Out. Nancy is a best-selling author, a renowned speaker in business success and personal motivation. As a life coach, she has empowered people to overcome their physical and emotional challenges and achieve their goals. When Nancy was 16 years old, she was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa and has experienced progressive vision loss over the years. Despite her prognosis, she was resilient in creating a vision for her future and determined to live with purpose and follow her dreams. She went on to work for Good Morning America and Entertainment Tonight, had a professional music career, and was a top producing realtor in Southern California. Today, Nancy hosts the National Living Full Out show and is an inspiring example of creating a successful life through determination and positivity. Nancy believes everyone is capable of overcoming adversities and living full out. So without further ado, welcome to my platform, Ms. Nancy Solari. Hey, Nancy, how are you?
Hey there. I am great. Happy to be here.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you on. I mean, for those who don't know, Nancy and I kind of go back a little bit, so I'm excited to have you back on the show and see what's been going on. It's been well over a year or so, probably even closer to 2 years. So I'm just excited to hear how you've been doing and, you tell the listeners about what's been going on in your world. And, before we dive into the full interview, though, why don't you just, tell the listeners a little bit more about who Nancy Solari is?
Oh, that's very kind. Well, you did such a good job introducing me before, but, I am like any one of you, to be honest. I was, a child with a dream of, being somewhere in the world of broadcasting, and like you, found myself doing radio and TV and all sorts of things. But, life gives us scoops, and sometimes 2 scoops and 3 scoops and a whole gallon of ice cream when we don't want it. And the visual impairment I have with retinitis pigmentosa, it definitely has turned my world upside down. But I would really say in a good way. I have learned to see a side of people, how giving they are, how attentive they are. And I don't know that I would have experienced that if I had on my sight. Also, Living Full Out, my company, being able to build that, obviously being legally blind, it's hard to see and do everything. So a lot of my team members have been my eyes. I may be the visionary of the company, but it's really been a team that's put that together. So, it's wild. I'm very grateful, actually, for the visual impairment I have, and although it's ironic that it's a visual impairment, I still see my future clearly every day.
Right. And, and I'm just sitting here listening to how you said that, is that, you said you're thankful, and there's not a whole lot of people who would look at that in that perspective as being thankful. But your experiences of having to, and you've been able to see, previously, and like I said, this has been a progressive disease that you've been diagnosed with, and obviously now, you're fully have lost that vision. But explain the experience of what you've had to deal with throughout the years, knowing that here, prior to your becoming 16 years old, you were perfectly fine. You've seen things, and then you've explained it just a few minutes ago that you can actually see more clearer now. Talk a little bit about how this has really truly affected you in your life, and what have you gone through, and what has made you such an inspiration to yourself?
Well, that's a great question. It's so interesting. I think of 2 really brief examples. Back when I was in real estate and I was a top producer, I eventually had to give up driving. The lines on the road started to disappear. However, I was really good at what I did, and I had to give up driving. I had a bit of an accident that really made me nervous to drive because I just didn't know if I could trust my eyes anymore. And I couldn't just abandon all my clients either. So I at the beginning, took the bus system. In L.A., I would take anywhere from 2 to 12 buses in a day. And I would show up at this multi-million-dollar home. I would get there super early, walk from the bus stop to the home, turn on every light possible, memorize every step, everything I wanted to tell them about the property, because my mind was sharp. My ability to negotiate was right on point. It was just the luck of the draw of not being able to see. I would show the property. My clients would go off. They'd be like, let us think about it. We'll get back to you this afternoon. And as soon as they left, I would lock up and I would walk back to the bus stop and have my next scheduled bus and whisk me off to my next showing. And those were really hard years. It did get better. I did get assistance, and eventually they started driving clients, and I didn't have to do that. But, when your back's against the wall and you kind of have to crack the code and yet still maintain your life and your dreams that you have for yourself, most of us will always figure out a way. We just have to believe in ourselves, and we have to dig in. And the only other story I'll tell you briefly is for example, I'm learning a little bit more cane training. I'm going to be getting a new guide dog, a Labrador, here in the next couple of months. And to do that, I have to go out there with my white cane and experiment in some new environments I've never been. And so I was at this intersection, and I was really having a difficult time because there was construction going on. And nowhere this guy walks up, and he's like, do you need some help, like crossing the street? And I go, yeah, are you going that way anyway? And he goes, oh, no, I was just driving by, and I pulled over. This person, and this is a very busy intersection, this person took it upon himself to recognize whether he was at a stoplight watching me. He pulled over. He pulled himself into the yellow zone. Could have get a ticket. I don't know. And he walked me across the street. That is the beautiful side of a human being. Somebody who would do that. He could have kept driving and be like, "Oh, poor lady with a cane," but he's like, "You know what? I'm okay on time. I'm gonna pull over and help her out." And I just so appreciated that day.
Wow. And you're right. There's very many people who have a kind heart. And the thing that I love is that he didn't judge you. He decided, like you said, to help you get to where you needed to get to safely. And that was the key to the story. And the things that I'm hearing you say, and the thing that I really enjoy listening to you talk about, is that you never give up. You are so resilient in, your thought process. And I'm sure that not every day is like that, but for you to say, that your life still has meaning and that you still want to continue to grow and do the things that you're doing, that's what makes you a better person. And even having something this difficult to deal with every day, it's never really stopped you. And so when you have people, and I'm sure many people have asked you, oh, how did this happen? And how can you get up every day and do what you're doing? What do you say to those people?
Well, here's the thing. Life is super, super precious. And, there's babies that are never born because they never get the shot. There's people whose lives are taken too quickly due to one reason or another, health condition or accident. And every day that I wake up, I know something's going to happen that's not going to be favorable, but something's going to happen. But I also hope that every day I'm able to bring purpose or passion or inspire one person. And I think the thing is, we just sometimes get boggled down with commitments, or we think we have to be, to the 10th power every day. You don't. You just have to wake up every day with purpose in your heart, a smile on your face, know that an obstacle or two are going to come in your path. It's just the way that life goes. And then at the end of the day, you better believe it, sister, I have my glass of wine and I say, all done.
Exactly.
I'm going to watch Shark Tank and I deserve it. I think it just has to be that easy.
Right. But, and the way you say it absolutely sounds very easy, but there's so many people who get up every day and they struggle. And most of it's a mindset thing. And so when they're struggling with that mind of, okay, well, what am I not doing right today? Or how is this going to start? I mean, it's usually for some, it's a negative scenario. And before it even really is negative, there's really nothing that wrong. But I like how you said that you don't have to get up every day and be at that 10th power. You don't have to be at the top every single day of your life. It's just getting up and being happy that you're here, and then taking it some days just by stride. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And so, when you describe living full out, and I know that that's your business, what is it that you're coaching and you're talking to and empowering these women that you talk to, and they're very challenged with what they're going through in their lives?
Absolutely. Well, it kind of starts with remembering that emotions, good and bad emotions, is emotions, energy in motion. And you have to honor the energy. So if you do wake up one of those days where you haven't slept well, where something's hung over from the day before and it's still on your mind, still gnawing at you, you got to honor that. And you got to flesh out what that emotion is. Now, I do believe in capping a pity party, capping an emotional moment to only so long. But it is absolutely okay to cry, especially with the pandemic and all these things going on in the world. It is okay to cry. It's okay to be scared. And it's okay to get angry. It's okay to say, this is not fair, or why me, or it's okay to have a pillow fight with yourself against the wall, whatever you got to do, right? Love pillow fights.
Right.
But at the end of the day, or, within a certain amount of time, once you flush that energy out, maybe even the gym or going for a walk, you have to turn around and you have to say, how can I switch this energy? How can I move it forward in a positive direction a little bit? Even somebody who's in financial stress, I know a lot of people are, what is just one thing I can do today to move me in a slightly better direction? And it just takes one step, and then 2 steps, and then 3 steps. And then you're going to get a natural win. It may not be a large win, it may be a small win, but you'll get a win. And then pretty soon, those negative thoughts, that negative energy, it's not following you around like a shadow every day. You have to believe that you're worth better.
Exactly. I like that. And the thing I love that you talk about is the pity party. There are a lot of people who are going through that right now. And a big part of it is wasn't their fault. Things have happened with the pandemic going on. Lives have changed dramatically, but it also has given us an opportunity to reevaluate, who we are, what we're doing. Is this really worth what we've been going through, prior to all of this? Like you said, the world's nothing but a rat race. And so we have had no choice but to slow it down. And even though things are ramping back up in some areas, it's just that time of realizing, okay, how long am I going to be in that pity party moment because my world is stopped? I can't go where I want to go. I can't do this. I can't do that. But at the same time, analyzing and saying, what have I not done? So it's time to, like I said, quit digging that hole that you're in and letting the pity party go, because it gets you nowhere. And so, like I said, a win is a win. And I think a lot of times we don't celebrate those wins enough.
Absolutely. And a win could be anything. A win could just be saying, I didn't work a full day, I worked half a day. A win could be, I paid one bill today. A win could be, I put myself on Match.com today. Or a win could be whatever, right?
Right.
To make your life more fulfilling. So when we talk about living full out is about looking at your life like a pie, and there's slices of the pie. And where people get lopsided, where they get resentful of others, resentful of themselves, where you sabotage yourselves, is when your life is lopsided. I mean, it's never going to be a perfect slice of a pie. I mean, I don't know anybody who ever takes a pie and every slice is perfect, right? Some are bigger, some are smaller.
Right.
Do your best, right? So that's what it means to live full out.
And you're right. And the name Living Full Out just has so many things. And I like it because it's not just one, you're not pointing to one thing. You're truly talking about all types of pieces to the puzzle that you're bringing to the table, and you're filling that puzzle in a way that is significant for you as an individual. And I think that's the thing that really stands out, with talking about living full out. So let's talk about a couple of things. And well, obviously you had a music career. So tell me about your music career. And I want listeners to hear this because I'm like, a music career. Come on now.
No, I have to tell you, I loved it. And I mean, I had gone to school in college, and I sung the national anthem, and I'd always seen, singing shows. Well, back in the day, I'm a little older, like Star Search and different things. And
Yeah.
and I always really enjoyed singing. So when I was making a transfer in my career, I was in broadcasting, and when my eyes started to adjust and change, it just became harder to read the teleprompter. I didn't know where I was going to belong anymore in the world of TV. I needed to kind of figure that out. But as I took a little break away from TV for a bit, I decided to go into the music industry, and I started meeting producers. I started networking with people. I put together a demo. I was really going for it. I had performed, but here's the thing. This is where not every hobby has to be a career. I thought I wanted to try it as a career, and I thought I would have enjoyed it. But the more I looked deeper into the lifestyle, the sex, drugs, rock and roll that they say it is.
Right.
And I remember one night so vividly. I was at a party, industry party, and I remember looking at one person, and he was snorting pretty much a Bentley up his nose, if you guys know what I mean.
Right.
Okay? And I was thinking, okay, not my person.
Right.
And then I was looking around the room, and I was seeing other people who were willing to sell out. I could just tell they were trying to either suck up or to do the right things or whatever, just to advance their career. And that wasn't who I was either. And I remember looking at everybody, and I wasn't there to wrong them, but I went into the bathroom, and I had a little bit of a tear rolling down my face because I was sad that something I loved so much that I thought I might want to do as a career, the lifestyle just didn't match up with who, this girl from Oregon was, right?
Right.
So I decided to walk away, but by doing that, I transitioned into real estate, right? And that layered on a whole new Nancy, an untapped Nancy I didn't know. So, in my life, it's been broadcasting, it's been the music industry, it's been real estate, and then founder of Living Full Out. And I just think it's really important to embrace change when our health conditions change, when our passions change, our lifestyles change. It's okay to morph. It's okay to grow.
Right, exactly. And like I said, it's one thing that you wanted it as a dream, but the reality of that dream just didn't fit into how you seen it. And that's a good thing to do, is to be able to sit back and say, I love what I'm doing, but if I got to go down this path in order to be successful, it's not worth it. And there's so many people who are willing to sell their souls in order to have that moment of, 15 minutes of fame just because they think that they're good, and nothing wrong with, feeling that you're great about yourself. But when you have to go so far in order to give yourself away just to get that piece of pie, it's not worth it. And, at least you had enough resiliency again to say, I'm not doing this. And even though I love this, it's time to move on. And then obviously the career in real estate was very well for you. And then now you have this amazing business. And how long have you been doing your national show, Living Full Out?
That's a great question. So Living Full Out actually started back in 2010. I got approached by KABC. They had Les Brown, motivational speaker, during the weekdays, and I was on the weekends. And so we launched it then, and then it grew to other stations, and now just kept on growing, and now we're well into the 2020s, right?
Wow.
So, but it's been such an amazing ride. But I think this kind of goes back to, ironically, here I am, a legally blind person, and I'm in the world of radio and podcasting, which doesn't rely on vision at all. And the most amazing thing is being able to just be Nancy and to be able to sit on the other side of the mic and interview people who have no arms, have no legs, who have been through a tragedy, a car accident, or whatever. And I sit there and I hear their stories, and I will tell you, while being blind is not a walk in the park, I hear people's stories, and I'm like, wow, you are my hero. So I think, again, it's kind of layered on that, seeing that beautiful side of the human spirit.
Right. And, and I always feel the same way, sitting behind the mic and just hearing people's stories. It's a motivation thing for me. It's a huge motivator. And I just love being able to have that opportunity to ask people to share their stories, because a lot of people don't understand is that when they're looking at us, they're just seeing a shell. They don't understand that there's so much more about that person. So having the world of podcasting gives people the opportunity to just learn to sit back and listen. and realize that, my life really may not be that bad, or that, I've learned something new today that I didn't know, whether it was about themselves or the person that they're listening to. So it's a whole different world. And so definitely podcasting gives you the opportunity to reach people that you would never even be able to have the opportunity to get to, because we can't always be in the same room, right, on a regular basis. So I think it's amazing that you've been in this business for so long and continuing to grow, because it is definitely getting better with the podcasting world for sure. But I have a couple other questions. So I always ask my guests that if somebody was to come up and ask you about business, what advice would you give them? Hello, did I lose Nancy?
I'm right here. Okay. Can you hear me? Oh,
I can hear you now. I was like, did we lose her?
No, I was going to say, I love business, and I think it is like the best personal development boot camp you're ever going to go on. Business is one of those things where you can create and fail, fail, create, succeed, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most entrepreneurs, most small business owners have done many, many ventures. So I really believe it's about taking what is a passion and then always figuring out where is the urgency, where is the need that people have, and really finding a way to be the answer to their question, the solution to their problem. And when you can do that, that's called figuring out your USP, your unique selling proposition. When you can do that, then you have magic, because you're doing something that, quite frankly, is a passion. You can't believe you're getting paid for it. You love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And it has purpose and meaning to other people's lives.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's just sharing, just teaching people to realize that you can definitely do what you want to do. And I like that, how you're saying that it's all about passion. And, I've had people ask me, well, I don't have anything for anybody to listen to or want to read, or, who cares about what I think? And the reality is that there are a lot of people out here who care about what you think, because there's always that connection that 90% of the time they're really talking about you, that the other person that's out there. So, to be able to come into business and realize, and like you said, you can fail, you can go back and start again. You can fail, you can start back again. And obviously you can do that again in a job, but when it's something that you really love and you can get paid for it, that's even better. That makes life even much more happier for most people, to be able to get up every day and do what they love, because you don't always have those opportunities in life to get up and just be happy. So the other questions I would like to ask real quickly is, what do you have else going on? I mean, it's been a long time. Do you have anything new that, since the last time we spoke, that you want to share with the listeners tonight?
Oh, there's always new. New is like my Nancy New Solari. No, I'm kidding. No, I believe in the new and I believe in the old, right?
Right.
New for us is always upping our game. Now, not game like we're gaming people, but upping our ability to be better and better and better. And so, for example, we have really forged ahead with so many of our social media sites that Pinterest and LinkedIn, many of these sites have come to us this year and have put us in beta programs, because we've been so active and so kind of out there and watching what works and what doesn't work. I love business, right? But now able to even be a part of the business of Pinterest and the business of LinkedIn and kind of help them find what works and roll out a new program. So we're happy to be partners with them. We are writing a lot of content, whether it be for the blog. We're doing a lot with other publications, both online and written form. And, one of the things that we've always tried to do is meet people where they are, meaning, I'm an auditorial learner. Not video because I can't see it, right?
Right.
Not written because I can't read it, but audio. But somebody else, they want to pick up a book. They want to pick up something and touch it and hold it and analyze it. And so I think that's kind of been our thing, too, is we're always trying to create and really, again, find what helps people process motivation the most. And the last thing I'll say is I'm so sorry for all that everybody went through recently with the pandemic and everything else, but I do think there's an opportunity of listening and an opportunity of growth that we've stepped into as well, meaning that we're working a lot now with corporations to bring our Living Full Out programs into their companies because they're just not doing as many of the, on location conferences, right?
Right.
It's a more remote, different world. So we've tried to really step into that world of virtual meetings, virtual conferences, and try to keep putting that Living Full Out spirit out there.
Yeah, and with the way things are today, is that we're proving every day that you can do just as much from your home environment or inside the doors versus having to always be out there and be able to connect with people in a different way. And I just think that even though, like I said, we all wish that we had more control and we're getting some of that back, but I have found myself, like I said, doing more reevaluating of who I am, connecting with people that I hadn't connected with in a long time. And, you just really are starting to grow yourself personally in a different ways that you wouldn't have time because, like I said, we're in a world of a rat race that we don't really sit down and think about what we have not had time to do or who we had not had time to talk to, or like if you want to go to school, why are you not going to school? What are the things that you truly want to bring out for yourself? And then a program like yours, Living Full Out, is definitely some positivity that people need because there are some of those individuals who they don't like being alone. They don't like working by themselves. They don't want to have to see themselves all day long and not be able to be around their friends. And, it's great that we can get on the phone or we can do video, FaceTiming and all that type of stuff. But some people need that extra. And I think that, what your program provides is exactly what a lot of these other companies need as well. So congratulations on all the great new things that you are doing. You have definitely done a lot since the last time we've talked. So,
well, it feels like it. I have to tell you, I need a good massage, and thankfully they're opening, but that's okay.
Exactly. Yeah, we had ours open here a few weeks ago. I'm like, yay! So I'm definitely getting mine soon too. So I get it. So, but all right, Nancy, it's been a pleasure having you on tonight. But before you go, please let the listeners know how they can get a hold of you.
Absolutely. They are welcome to go to livingfullout.com. That's kind of the central hub for everything. They can access all of our 6 social media platforms from there. They can hear the radio show, check out our 24-hour radio station, coaching, speaking, the blog. It's just all in one place. But most of all, I do want to give your listeners, we have on there, it's called 80 Tips to Bring Balance into Your Life, and it's free. I just encourage them to maybe grab that only because I just know right now, even I am raising my hand because, not every day we feel imbalanced, right? So if we can help you in any way, we're happy to.
All right, you guys. Well, you heard it live from Miss Nancy Solari. It has, again, like I said, it's been a pleasure having you on. You're doing great, and we'll obviously stay connected and maybe have you come back on another couple more years and see what else you are doing out here in the world, okay? But all right, but for everyone else, we are here every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We have the show, has its own new mobile app you can download on Google Play so that you can listen to the show as often as you would like, and all the different wonderful interviews we've had in the last 4 years, which I've interviewed over 167 people. So I still try to wrap that around my head. So, look for your favorites. Go back and listen to the replays and enjoy all the great conversations and all the resources and information that's been provided throughout these last 4 years on this platform. And as well, we are on some other new platforms. I think I had mentioned last week about GeoSavan, which is a new mobile audio platform for us. They're not new, but they've been around. There's over 104 million listeners over in India. So we're very happy to be on that platform and having the opportunity to become more global so that our show is being heard. And, again, we thank everyone for their support. Please go on to our website at www.wsbillc.com and check out what we have going on at at our location, and we do have an amazing event coming up in September. So please feel free to review our Purple and Pink throwback fundraiser for domestic violence and for breast cancer awareness. We are definitely taking donations now. So all money that's raised, 20% of that money will go to 2 different organizations that we support here in our local community. But again, like I said, thank you for listening in. We will see you all next week. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone. We will be back next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Follow us on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. View our new WSBI website anytime at www.wsbillc.com and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.